Dawn, can you hear me? Okay. Board of Trustees of this congregation, welcome to all of you. Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom and nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you'd like to learn more about this fellowship, please look at our website at uufe.org and join us after the service for our coffee hour, which is in the gathering place through the gallery hallway. For the listening enjoyment of all, we ask that you at this time please turn off your cell phones or turn them to vibrate. Also, if you need hearing support, please ask for help at the sound desk, and Chuck will provide assistance for y'all. We have some announcements today. First of all, Mary reminded me that Euchre is next Saturday, our community Euchre. Next Saturday at 4 o'clock, right, Mary? And after the Euchre this time, there will be a soup supper. So I'm sure everyone will look forward to that. An opportunity presents itself on Saturday, October 21st, starting at 9 a.m. in the CVS parking lot at the corner of Johnson Street and Bristol, to help with the County Road 9 cleanup. It's our semi-annual cleanup of County Road 9. It'll be the first time we get to use our new sandwich boards, which identify along the highway, or the roadway, who we are and who's doing the cleanup. And thanks to Chuck and Karen for that. There's a sign-up sheet on the Ivy Island for this, and right now it's only got 4 names on it, and we need more. So please, we need as many helpers as we can get. Sign up and go from there. Stephen Karen. What did I say? Chuck. I don't know why I said that. Because there is a Chuck and Karen. Stephen Karen. Well, that was, maybe I got my mistake out of the way early. Yeah. The RE committee is heading up Trunk or Treat this year, and they would like for parents to be freed up to devote some time to their children. So as a result, they're in need of volunteers to help with the food crew and the game team. Please contact Renee Ruocco at UUFE. Her email is also in the directory. Here's a piece of good news from Karen, another Karen. Rich Hackle has graduated from the rehab center in Mishawaka and was released Friday. He still can't use his right leg or arm. He did say his first sentence last weekend. Maybe, I don't know if everybody knows, Rich had a stroke about 3 weeks ago. He still can't use his right leg or arm, and he did say his first sentence last weekend. He said, "I want to go," and he wanted to finish that by saying home. He also moved his right foot from the floor to the footrest of the wheelchair twice. Since his wife Karen can't move him, he is at HealthWin in South Bend, where he's continuing to receive therapy. Karen is working 5 days a week, going home after work, long enough to take care of the pets and eat some dinner, and then to South Bend, they live in Goshen, by the way, to visit Rich. She's looking forward to the day he gets to come home, as you can probably well imagine. We ring the gong 3 times, once for those who came before us and made a place for us, once for those who are here with us now, and once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. The chalice lighting today is adapted from the one given by Janice Marie Johnson and presented at this year's General Assembly during the Sunday service. Today we light our chalice as a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. We kindle a living flame whose light guides us, honoring all that is holy and all that is greater than any one of us. In kindling this flame, we choose to honor family. Here at UUFE, our gong reminds us that we reflect on the beauty and strength and promise of our intrinsic connection to our ancestors, to those who are here now and to those yet to come. In addition, we are all in tune with the fact that the family also encompasses all that truly is our lives, including the family that is our larger UU community. Please join me in saying our unison covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. The children are asked to stay with us for the reading of our Story for All Ages, entitled Whatever Comes Tomorrow by Rebecca Garden Levington. And it'll be read by Annette Long.
Whatever Comes Tomorrow. Words by Rebecca Garden Levington and art by Mariana Cabasa. Tomorrow may bring endless sun or swirly, snowy skies. Tomorrow may bring new hellos or difficult goodbyes. Tomorrow may bring loneliness or laughter with a friend. Tomorrow may bring words that wound or ones that heal and mend. Tomorrow may bring changes that are scary, strange, or new. Tomorrow may bring chances to embrace your truest you. Tomorrow may bring obstacles that seem too hard to face. Tomorrow may bring feelings that will need some extra space. Tomorrow may bring questions that you have no answers for, or answers that may lead you to more questions than before. Tomorrow may bring anything you have no way to know, and sometimes that uncertainty gives worries room to grow. They sprout and bloom, consume your mind. You want to run and hide. But you've confronted fear before and reached the other side. You can't control what happens next. The what, the where, the how. The only thing in your control is you, right here, right now. You take a breath, you close your eyes, you whisper, I am strong. You tell those worries in your head, I know I can, you're wrong. And when tomorrow disappears, becoming yesterday, you'll know for sure you can endure whatever comes your way. Tomorrow may bring laughter, love, confusion, fear, or fun, an angry, rainy hurricane, or peaceful seaside sun. Whatever comes tomorrow, however steep the hill, you'll find your path, you'll journey on, you'll make it through. You will.
Thanks, Annette. That was very nice. Okay, the children could go to RE at this time. And Mary Adams is going to share a morning musing with us as the children exit.
I almost cannot believe how interwoven the chalice lighting was, the children's story, and what I was going to talk about this morning. Do I need to be closer or farther? It's kind of ringing in my ears. I want to talk to you about caring. As it turns out, you know, since we have no minister, I have been coordinating our care team. And for a while, 6 of us and then 5 of us have been working along and addressing needs of various of our UUFE family. And I do encourage you to think of us as a large family, because we truly are at another level. For several months, in the earlier part of the year, we probably saw a handful of people in one fashion or another, as we do. Last month, there were 15 of our members that needed some attention and care from us. And I want you to be aware of the need not just of our team, but of each other, to reach out to one another as you are. If you live near to somebody or think of them, just talk to them. These are family members, and we may all need a certain amount of caregiving. It's an interesting thing about caregiving is that, and it takes, I don't know whether it's intuition, but sometimes it's appropriate to volunteer what it is that you wish to offer, and others it's better to wait to be asked. And you don't always know exactly, except in the moment, what's appropriate, and maybe even then you're going to goof it up. But at least if your heart's in the right place, the intention, I think, comes through in another way. I know that you're all familiar with the Serenity Prayer. Lord, grant me the wisdom, the courage. What did we start out with? The serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think it takes a lot of courage to accept the things we cannot change as well. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I feel a little uncertain about what's going on in Israel right now, when it's happening at the same time as Ukraine. I'm not sure what's coming, and it's not fruitful for me to really dwell on that, because, as was pointed out in the little story, and I was going to say as well, we need to stay present. We need to stay in the moment and do what we can, be with one another, with understanding and respect and love, right here and right now.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, that story for all ages was, it wouldn't surprise me if the lady who wrote that story might have had some instruction in Buddhism, because that being in the moment was right on the money. We're going to sing now hymn number 121. Lizzie's going to play the hymn, We'll Build a Land. Steve, do you want to, you don't need to lead this, do you? Do you want to lead it? I wasn't sure. I know the acapella one you will. Now the morning offering will be taken. Today's cash donations will be shared with the YWCA Safe Haven Elkhart Women's Shelter. May we generously give as we generously receive. And then Steve will lead us in singing the offertory a cappella.
We'll sing this a couple times until everybody's done. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Thank you. Now you can turn in your hymnal. And if you'd like, you can remain seated. That's up to you. Love will guide us, number 131.
Good morning. I'm Terry Mark. My pronouns are he and him. I was born and raised in Elkhart and live here on the ancestral lands of the Potawatomi and Miami peoples. For the visually impaired in our audience and watching on Zoom or YouTube, I'm a cisgender, middle-aged Chinese American male with dark gray flecked hair. I wear eyeglasses and a multicolored shirt. And it is my honor to be speaking to you today. A few months ago, I had a deeply significant experience when I attended General Assembly with my wife, Annette Long. When we returned from that annual gathering of UUs from around the world, we stood here at this podium to report on what we experienced and learned at GA. We also shared about the significant changes that are coming to our faith. And in my mind, that was really only an appetizer, that there was so much more that I wanted to share with you from that experience. And the more I thought about GA, the more I came to realize one very important thing, that I needed to tell you about love. But to get to the love part, we're going to have to start in a spot that you may not always associate with love, and that is a UUFE board meeting. I noticed that Pam laughed the loudest there. UUFE board meetings, if you've ever been to one, are many things all at the same time. They are convivial. Time is dedicated at the beginning for everyone to check in and helping center everyone for the important business ahead. Meetings can also be mundane, with financial reports, committee reports, reviewing the minutes, and scheduling future meetings, and so much more. At times, they can also be very serious. The agenda items can relate to our ministry to each other, as well as to the world outside these four walls. We talk about how our values can be made manifest in the real world. And the details of UUFE's board meetings are recorded in minutes. They're a record, a history of our congregation. I recently found myself thinking about one particular meeting and what I remembered about it, as well as what was recorded in the minutes from that meeting. On March 11th, 2020, I was president of the UUFE Board of Trustees during a meeting that still echoes through our congregation to this day. That was the meeting at which we voted to suspend all activities through the end of that month. It was right at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it was also the first step in a long journey that we are still traveling. It's funny what memories stick with you, though. I didn't remember much about the actual discussion in that meeting, and you would think that that would be something that would really stick in my memory banks, but it didn't. So I dug up my copy of the minutes, and it confirmed a lot of things for me, that there was great uncertainty about how serious this really was. None of us really had a handle on what we were dealing with, and we debated different approaches. And through it all, we thought about each and every congregant and how you would be affected. At this meeting, according to the minutes, I apparently suggested a less aggressive approach to shutting down. It was something of a middle ground, I guess you would say. But I didn't remember that. But it made sense as I thought about it. That's kind of how my mind tends to operate, to find a middle ground or a compromise. Now, what is funny is what I actually remember about that day. And when I think back on it, this is one of the things that stands out first and foremost. After the meeting, I needed to grab some dinner. I hadn't had time to get anything to eat before the meeting, so I was pretty hungry. So when I walked into a restaurant and it had a TV tuned to a basketball game, except there was not a game being played. The court was empty, and there was a breaking news alert on the screen, and it announced that the National Basketball Association was canceling all its games effective immediately because of the coronavirus. And as crazy as that sounds, that's when the global implications of the pandemic really pierced my bubble. It wasn't the dangers of the virus or getting sick or how virulent it was. Rather, it was that professional sports leagues, which I pay probably too much attention to, were taking it that seriously. So let's fast forward from that moment to the present day. The last 3.5 years have been a roller coaster for all of us at UUFE. There have been joyful moments, to be sure, but we've also experienced too many moments of loss, disappointment, and awkwardness. And for a long time, I struggled with this grief and then felt guilty about grieving. My impulse is to push forward and keep on keeping on. And I know that for many of you, that is your instinct as well. But we've seen a tremendous upheaval in our membership and in our ministry. For example, I had come to depend on seeing Reverend Amy and her family every week. Their departure left a hole in my life. And there are others who are also no longer present here. Some have passed away. Some have moved to new homes elsewhere in the country. And some have simply reordered their priorities. And we don't see them on Sundays anymore. Friends, it is okay to sit and experience this grief. Change is a constant in our lives, and it is healthy to acknowledge and honor the positive aspects and the loss and disappointment it might create. There are simply holes that are really hard to fill. And all of these changes on their own can rock you to the core. When you suffer the losses that we have, it is only human to question, to wonder, who are we now? And what is our place in this community? I'll let you in on a little secret. When people are under stress, like we were and we are, we're not always the nicest to each other. There were more than a few moments that I felt mistreated by others here. A passive-aggressive dig, some thinly veiled hostility. It was not fun. I could have done better in how I handled it. But what made it worse for me was that I noticed that others around me who observed this mistreatment often pretended that it didn't happen or weren't willing to confront the repercussions or deal with the harm that was done. So this all left me questioning, what boundaries did I need to hold on for myself, for my well-being? What did this faith community at UUFE really mean to me? And could I rise above that disappointment? What was my place here? So I had all of these things in my heart when Annette and I signed up to be volunteers at this year's General Assembly. I was searching and I was asking myself, was I willing? Would I heed the words to our opening song? I want to read a part of it to you from I Am Willing, written by Holly Holmes Neer and John Michael McCutcheon. I am open and I am willing. To be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. I was hungry to be in community with Unitarian Universalists from across the country, and I experienced a joy that I hadn't felt in a while as I served on the General Assembly's Green Team. Here I was, living my UU values of caring for our planet and protecting the life that is interdependent on our actions. I was doing more than just picking through waste bins, although that's what I literally was doing, but I was modeling what it means to be UU in the real world. I was providing radical hospitality to the other GA attendees on their meal break. And I experienced fellowship with UUs from across the country who were on the Green Team with me. I remember Scott. He was one of the co-leaders of our group. He's a bar manager from Nashville, Tennessee, and he was attending with his husband. There's also Abby, a bookstore clerk from Brooklyn, who longed to return to her educational background as a sustainability advocate. Annette and I shared bus rides with a woman from Rhode Island. And we had a chance encounter with the director of religious education at the Reading, Pennsylvania UU Church, where Amy now serves. Through all these encounters, the love I feel for Unitarian Universalism was reignited. It is a love that drives us Unitarian Universalists to care for our world and to fight for equality and justice. It is as true now as it was in our history. In the Sunday morning worship service, the Reverend Manish Mishra-Marzetti shared the contributions of UUs in the past. These stories that he shared remind us of the many ways that love has animated Unitarians and Universalists over the centuries. In the 16th century, Michael Servetus advocated beliefs that are the foundation of Unitarian and Universalist thought, that there was no original sin, that salvation was available to all, that Jesus was fully human. For those beliefs, which are rooted in his love for humanity, Servetus was burned at the stake for heresy. Transylvanian Unitarian minister Francis David helped articulate the first Western edict of religious tolerance in 1568. What David teaches us is the importance of acceptance across differences. There can be no more loving way to view the full diversity of religious expression across the world. Raised a Unitarian, Henry David Thoreau was jailed in 1846 for failing to pay taxes. He could not countenance supporting a government that legitimized slavery and war. In this way, Thoreau demonstrated his love of our shared humanity. And Unitarian Susan B. Anthony marched, organized, and politicked because she believed in gender equality. Thanks to her and other suffragists, women were finally granted the right to vote. And it should be noted that Susan B. Anthony also navigated a rift in suffragist ranks as well. She supported full voting rights for all people versus the views of some suffragists who prioritized white women over blacks of any gender. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, another Unitarian, was an activist who helped co-found the NAACP, reinforcing UU's place in support of racial equality long before the civil rights movement. These are UU values we're talking about here: equality, justice, democracy, diversity. And they're all grounded by our love for each other, for humanity, and our love for the earth. But you don't have to look to historical figures from Unitarian Universalism's past to find how love is shaping our movement. My friend, Misha Sanders, is a UU minister who found a joyful parish ministry in suburban Atlanta. She fights against white supremacy and voting access, and for voting access, all the while navigating personal family loss, the ongoing journey of her trans son, and the ups and downs of modern day dating. Resilience is her superpower. Another friend, Lisa Presley, whom some of you know from Midwest Leadership School, and as a congregational life consultant in our region, works hard every day to support leaders throughout the Midwest and to support UU congregations. Whenever I see her, she never fails to remind me that Unitarian Universalism saves lives, and she is right on many times over. Or just look around our present and past. We help feed the hungry in our neighborhood and wider Elkhart County, no matter their beliefs. We do this with our food pantry and with our support of organizations such as Church Community Services. This is how we are living our UU values. When we support marginalized communities, when we work to protect voting rights and ensure that all Americans can cast their ballot, when we pick up trash and clean up our stretch of Johnson Street and County Road 9, when we stand against oppressors who try to ban books and limit information. Are we open and are we willing? To be hopeless would seem so strange. I've shared with a few of you how deeply touched I was by that Sunday morning worship service. at General Assembly, and I'd like to share a couple of moments from that now. The first is an excerpt from the epic poem Mental Flight by Ben Okri. It is also read by Dr. Janice Marie Johnson. Might we choose to make this time a waking up event, a moment of world empowerment, to pledge in private to be more aware, more playful, more tolerant, and more fair, more responsible, more wild, more loving, awake to our unsuspected powers, more amazing. We rise or fall by the choices we make. It all depends on the road we take. And the choice and the road each depend on the light that we have, the light that we bend, on the light that we use. Might we view what UUFE has experienced together as a waking up event? What will we pledge to do individually and collectively? You know, one of the things I learned from GA and just meeting and talking with so many UUs from across the world is that our challenges, our questions about our future, our budget, a minister, we're far from alone. We are not alone. There are many congregations who are struggling or just trying to make their way through, just as we are. And make no mistake, our struggles are real and the challenges are great. But look what we have managed to do. We have maintained weekly worship services. We have kept a religious education program going, and we've continued to enjoy fellowship together. But we are also still in search of a minister. Change is not something to be feared. I believe we need to embrace it just as we need to embrace the external challenges that threaten our society. In Indiana and in Elkhart County, public education and libraries remain under assault from forces who do not value diversity, do not believe in equality. Indeed, these forces seek to divide our society and maintain inequality. Affordable and widely available health care, such a necessity to everyday life, is a fleeting thing for many people still. And healthcare choices for women, reproductive rights, have been eroded almost beyond recognition. How our society views and treats our transgender friends feels like it's on a knife's edge. Gun violence and our society's inability to curb access to firearms is an ever-present threat. But to not meet these challenges would dishonor those who went before us. We have every reason to feel anxious, but we can harness that anxiety and allow it to be a catalyst, to be our waking up event. Will we remember who we are as Unitarian Universalists? The Reverend Mishra-Marzetti closed his Sunday sermon at GA with this: we are a people devoted to religious liberty, to equity, to justice, individual and collective healing and growth. We are a people of courage. We UUs are a people who have always been open and willing to rise to the times we live in. So are we open and are we willing? I believe that we are. Let us not be hopeless. Let us not dishonor those who went before us. Let us lift ourselves up to the light of change. Amen. Blessed be, and may it always be so.
Well, I was going to ask if you wanted to take any comments.
I'm happy to talk with people after the service.
Okay, that's fair enough. So, yes, Terry will now share the benediction with us.
All right. I did that mic drop a little too early. As we end this time together, may we be reminded to hold each other in care, to hold each other in power, and to hold each other in love.
voice is trembling when your life needs mending. Don't give up when the hurt is near you. Don't give up when the world seems to be broken. I'm still hoping with my heart open, hey, for a brighter day. Don't give up when your pride is bruised, and don't give up when you feel you're losing. Don't give up in your darkest hour, 'cause you got that power. Don't give up when you feel divided. Don't give up, I'll be by your side. Unbroken, I'm still hoping with my heart open, yeah, yeah, for a brighter day. And if you stay with me, I will stay with you for a brighter day. For a brighter day. For a brighter day. For a brighter day. Don't give up, you just keep on fighting. Don't give up, you just keep on fighting. Don't give up, you just keep on fighting. Even when your eyes are crying. Don't give up, you just keep on fighting. Don't give up, you just keep on fighting. Even when your eyes are crying. Yeah, for a brighter day. For a brighter day. For a brighter day. For a brighter day. And if you stay with me, I will stay with you for a brighter day. Don't give up, you just keep on fighting for a brighter